Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. PolySign. So as we all know, PolySign has been bankrupt. They went bankrupt and now they are looking to see what the next plan of action is. But that is not the case, right? The thing here to really focus on around PolySign and around what's been happening is the focus of the original mission of these companies. For an example, PolySign, Standard Custody, and Medico. These are three companies that are tied back to Ripple that it seems as though are all going to be fully acquired under Ripple. With PolySign, we don't really know the full-on story of what's about to happen. A lot of people have been speculating. A lot of people have been questioning what's going to happen. We don't know. But that's not the full story of what I'm really kind of getting, or what I'm trying to get across to you guys. The story here is, what is the focus of all three of these companies? Well, PolySign was building the future of digital assets, and this was all through institutional grade, custody, security, and ultimately opportunity. We have the opportunity of a generation. Our mission at PolySign is to drive global use of digital assets by building best-in-class infrastructure that enables institutions to secure and transact in digital assets across the capital markets and also even the payments sectors. Now, again, this was a company that a lot of people have focused on for a very long time because of the fact that, one, it's backed by Arthur Brito and David Schwartz, and a lot of people question, what is this going to do? What is the big play around PolySign going to be? And to this day, we don't really fully know it. But also, what about Standard Custody? Because Standard Custody did get fully acquired by Ripple. And the interesting thing about Standard Custody is this is institutional grade digital asset custody solutions. And this is all around offering secure custody solutions that stand up to the strictest regulations and unlock the value of digital assets for institutional investors. Are you kind of getting the story here? Because the story that we are looking at here and reading together is institutional grade custody and infrastructure products. That's the full focus here from these companies. And then even with Medico, the institutional standard for digital asset services, launch large-scale digital asset capabilities with our mission-critical custody infrastructure. It's all infrastructure, right? And all of these companies are now under the wing of Ripple, essentially. And the question is, what's about to happen? What is the end story here? Well, let's go back here to this post from February 13th by Chad Steingraber, and we have Standard Custody and Trust Business Wire. Ripple announces acquisition of Standard Custody and Trust Company, expands its portfolio of regulatory licenses, because if you guys don't know, yes, this is a New York BIT license that they're getting with this. We have Ripple and subsidiaries collectively hold a New York BIT license, nearly 40 money transmitter licenses across the US. And here you have the full breakdown of that in terms of, doubling down on its core businesses and payments and custody. Ripple supports live commercial custody offerings in 20 regulatory jurisdictions and payments into 70 countries around the world. But also, if we go back over here to Standard Custody, we scroll down, you can see the alt season time bomb is ticking, and now is the best time to go and get your free access to 30 secret crypto gems that I personally have researched completely for you so that you can save a ton of time and make a ton of money. The link down in the description below takes you guys to this page where you can claim your free access instantly. Right now, free of charge. It's completely free. So what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Go and click the link down in the description below, as well as in the comments below, to get access now. Standard Custody has been granted charter status by the New York State Department of Financial Services, permitting the company to offer custodial and escrow services for clients. So very interesting. Now, of course, you can make up your mind and say, like, oh, yeah, that means that Ripple's going to offer XRP as escrow for clients, institutional clients. No, I don't think that that's the case, but I do think that there is a lot behind Standard Custody that now really is a major key for Ripple to unlock a ton of doors. But outside of this, we got Standard Custody and Trust Company, a subsidiary of PolySign Inc. And yes, this was a subsidiary of PolySign, which really kind of connected the dots between these two. And everyone was really kind of hinting at what is going to happen next. They were speculating and so forth. Now over here, we have Standard Custody and Trust Company. We've built our business specifically to avoid any conflicts, so we are exclusively focused on providing custody and escrow services. This is from Jack McDonald. He answers following questions. Why is custody important in crypto? What should institutions think about when selecting a custodian? How do you think about differentiation from other custodians? What is the future of custody in digital assets? And check this out. I hope that YouTube doesn't mute this. They have been muting a lot of clips, so I do apologize if they do.
I think for a lot of different reasons, and we can differentiate between retail and institutions. Institutions in many cases have to use a qualified custodian as part of the custody rule, and the SEC has recently proposed some changes around that. But using a qualified custodian, if you fall under the rubric of the Registered Investment Advisor Act of 1940, that you have to use a qualified custodian. I would ensure that there are the operational and client support teams that you would expect to see from an institutional sell-side provider. You want to ensure that the assets are insured, even though it may not be a requirement. It's certainly a best practice. And I also think, just like in life, we're judged by the company we keep. And so I would be looking at the other service providers, partners, vendors that given custodians work with, where given custodians, for example, get their market data research from folks like DAR, all who provide an excellent service and we think are reflective of the quality that we and other qualified custodians have. At Standard Custody, we built our business specifically to avoid any conflicts. So we are exclusively focused on providing custody and escrow services. We don't provide any trading functions or staking or lending or borrowing or market making, et cetera. And so I think as you watch this industry unfold, you will see more pure play custodians like Standard Custody be selected by the issuers, and then we will work in concert with market surveillance partners to provide that very important surveillance sharing agreement that the regulators seem to require. But one way or another, tokenization is coming, and it's going to have a profound impact on global markets as we know them. And I think that custody will continue to be a cornerstone of that. There will be other services that complement it, and it will happen slowly over time. But it's undeniable in our view that custody around digital assets will play a key role going forward.
And I do believe that this was the full focus of the idea of Ripple really kind of acquiring Metaco. Now Ripple also acquiring Standard Custody, which is also tied back to PolySign. It's all around tokenization, right? But now we also got over here, custody is the Gordian knot of tokenization of real economy. With, of course, Ripple. Ripple Labs Inc. is one of the first to pursue the vision of the internet of value. With the acquisition of Metaco and Standard Custody, Ripple gains a huge head start and positions itself as the first mover for the coming years in adopting tokenization, a multi-trillion-dollar market by 2030. Big shout out to XRP Drops for this content. And if we just look at this, we could see the full quote here by Ripple with Metaco and Standard Custody. This is Team Ripple, February 12th, quoting this. Now, outside of this, let's go over here. So this just got recently posted, and this is why I'm bringing this all back up. This is on June 1st. And we have the story behind Ripple's plans to acquire Standard Custody and Trust Company. Ripple has focused on a mission to provide enterprise-based solutions for those institutions who want to tokenize, store, move, and exchange value on blockchains around the world. And specifically, getting a trust company is a very strategic fit for Ripple and its stablecoin. Check this out.
We started PolySign, the parent company for Standard Custody and Trust, which is a New York qualified custodian. We're days away, hopefully, from closing our transaction, selling Standard Custody and Trust to Ripple, upon which I'll be joining Ripple. I'm quite excited about that.
Can you talk a little bit about what was the strategic importance of that for Ripple? Why was Ripple interested in buying Standard Custody?
Ripple's really evolved from what 10 or 11 years ago was a cross-border payments company to today really more broad-based in terms of tokenization, payments, custody, and in the not-too-distant future will be stablecoin. And I think in the end have focused on a mission to provide enterprise-based solutions for those institutions who want to tokenize, store, move, and exchange value on blockchains around the world. And so Specifically, getting a trust company is a very strategic fit for them to do that. Brad Garlinghouse, CEO, announced a number of weeks ago at Paris Blockchain about the intention to launch a stablecoin. I think when you consider Ripple's global payments network, there's a broad global base of financial institutions who increasingly have been using stablecoins as a means of payment and a settlement token for that payment. I think Ripple wants to natively be a part of that.
Huge news.
Yeah, big.
Like Ripple
exciting.
Launching a stablecoin that competes with USDC, Tether, PYUSD.
And I think Ripple rightly views the ecosystem as a rising tide, lifting all ships, since you don't want to fight that. There's plenty of room for more high quality, liquid stable coins out there. So this is not a winner take all sort of, journey that Ripple is looking to go on. Quite the opposite. I think they're looking to work with the Circles of the world and other issuers to, benefit the industries.
So just as we've talked about in the past, this is all part of one big plan, and it's to corner the institutional market, right? They want to make sure that they have a major head start. They want to make sure that they have every single tool in their arsenal available to offer to these enterprises, to these institutions, to anyone that wants to come into this space and tap into a infrastructure of tooling for these big players to build out solutions, offer solutions. And it's all to achieve the goal of the internet of value. And this is all through tokenization, storing, moving, and exchanging value. And it's going to be in a very instantaneous time frame as well around anything of movement of value, right? Anything that is going to be moving, you can guarantee that it will be near instant. Now, outside of this, there was also another great clip that got posted by Crypto Area, and we have the connections between custody, tokenization, stablecoins. I get it now. The decoupling between the geo component and the payments component. Check this out.
Those 150 billion in stablecoins that are out there, I think that we are in the first inning of how this is going to evolve. And maybe we are at the top of the first inning. So I don't think that we should assume that the market is settled. Hopefully, we will see trillions in assets under management on stablecoins, and the market will benefit for more entrants and from strong companies that want to have a presence in the market. Most of that volume happens on crypto markets, and a lot of that is institutional trading. And traditionally, the way that issuers have monetized the stablecoins has been through interest on the reserve. So they are fiat backed. So when somebody mints one token, there is a counterparty in fiat that goes into a reserve that is invested into assets. Those assets generates a yield. That's how the issuer has traditionally made money. I think that monetization model has been a little bit of an artifact of the interest rate environment today. So if you look 5 years from now, I expect and I hope that interest rates will be lower. But I also think that there will be a lot of what you're seeing that is happening on the asset management space. We've been talking a lot about payments, but also there's a ton of activity that is happening in the asset managers with BlackRock and Franklin Templeton and Fidelity and others. So I do think that we will see a decoupling between the yield component and the payments component. And I think that probably my vision of the future is if you are the CFO of a large corporation that is engaged in digital currencies and you have extra cash, you will keep that in something that is a tokenized money market fund or similar, and you will get your yield from that point. And then when you want to make a payment, you will convert that tokenized money market fund into tokenized money, which is what a stablecoin is, and then you will send the stablecoin. I do think that a stablecoin is an imperfect instrument for yield. Tokenized money market fund is an imperfect instrument for payments, and those instruments should be what they are meant to be. And then the stable coins will not be monetized on yield on the reserve. They will monetize on transaction fees. That's why we were saying, look, we optimize for things that are specific for payments. We care about KYC on our network. We care about throughput. We care about scalability. And it makes sense when you put all those things together, combined with our unique assets, the capillarity into fiat rails, and the consumer base and the user base. We felt compelled to launch our own because we're saying, well, we think that we have a right to play. We have an ability to serve consumers and merchants there. And we believe in choice.
So there you guys have it. And again, the overall focus here of what he's really kind of, telling us is stablecoins, right? They will be a crucial component of generating the yield. Just as he mentioned there, and if we go back just slightly, right? It's during this point where we have custody plus tokenized money market fund for yield plus stablecoin payments. Stablecoins will be a major mover around tokenized things of value. Once we start to see tokenization really heating up in a large way, especially on a lot of these networks, which is what we are assuming happening around the XRP Ledger, around Hedera, etc. And it's already starting, right? We're starting to see BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, and so many other major institutional players lining up. We're going to start to see custody become the crucial piece. Custody is number one on the list. That's why as we look at Medico, as we look at standard custody, as we look at Polyson, Ripple has every single tool in its arsenal to really kind of target this. And then you mix in the stablecoin, right? Now you have the entire breakdown of what is needed to harness all of these big players into one position to target a possible quadrillion-dollar plus market, because we don't know how much money is going to be tokenized, because the values just keep rising around a lot of these asset classes. Like if you go and look at global real estate 10 years ago versus where it is now, like the overall market opportunity here for tokenization is unlimited. There is so much money out there that could be touched by tokenization. And then you think about the 24/7, 365 trading and transactional demand around tokenized things of value, and then you mix in stablecoins into the picture as well. Like think about what these networks will be in 5 years and 10 years. I mean, it's insane, but this is why I say it's a once in a generational opportunity. It really is. Like this is one of the biggest opportunities that you will ever witness in history. Everyone's sitting here squandering an opportunity because they're only focused on what the price is going to look like in a month from now. But they failed to realize the true vision here, which is every single thing around you that has a value tied to it will be tokenized on chain and will be moved and transacted with 24/7, 365 through stablecoins and tokenized money. This is going to be an absolute game changer for this entire space. But again, we still have obstacles in our way. Regulatory movements, compliance. But those things are being solved. But that's why I look at what Ripple is doing. That's why I look at what Ripple employees, like for an example, Marcus Infinger told us. Our meetings with TradFi around tokenization have become much more tangible. They now come to Ripple with real use cases teed up. Now, we also have at FT Crypto yesterday, I discussed why it won't be long before banks are ready for mass adoption of blockchain. Spoiler alert, it's happening. This is from a Ripple employee. This is SVP of Ripple X. And by the way, here's a video clip that got posted on May 31st. Ripple X SVP, Marcus Infinger, demonstrates how he has no problem describing how tokenization is transforming finance in under a minute in his first turn at crypto in 1 minute. Check it out.
So look, the XRP Ledger is able to settle any transaction in 3 seconds, so I think I should be able to explain tokenization in 60 seconds. Single day.
So there you guys have it. And again, they are fully locked in. They are tapped in and locked in and dialed in on tokenization of pretty much everything. They know how transformative this is going to be for not only just finance, but every single asset class out there. And that's why when we look at what's happening here and when we look at the discussions from these employees, like these are actual employees at Ripple telling us like, hey, we have these big players lined up. They're already here. These banks are ready for mass adoption of blockchain. And then we look at these videos and we look at the moves being made by Ripple to acquire these institutional grade platforms and infrastructure players like Medico and Standard Custody and Polysign, which, by the way, all have ties back to some of the largest banks out there. You can clearly see the vision of the Internet of Value becoming a reality. And guess who's at the forefront of it? Ripple is, with the XRP Ledger and XRP. And if you are in denial of this, you have to pretty much be blind to not see this all becoming a reality. I mean, look at the steps being taken in just the last year alone by Ripple. I get it. We're looking at price action today. Guys, I don't think I need to be the one to tell you that the price action is tied to Bitcoin. The price action is tied to nonsense when you are looking at what's really moving in this market and what's really not. In the short term, I will be fine looking like an idiot because I believe in utility. But in the long term, guys, we are going to be looking like those visionaries that are complete legends because we saw the vision, we saw the value, and we realized it. We realized what is in front of us at a time where a very small percentage also agrees with us. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, set notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.